Hi, good evening, and welcome to this evening's webinar about dual enrollment. My name is Steve Whitacre. I'm the president of Trinity College of Louisville. I'm also one of the pastors of Sovereign Grace Church of Louisville, and I'm pleased to welcome you to this evening's webinar. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to be discussing dual enrollment this evening and how it might serve high school seniors as they complete their senior year while taking some classes for college credit at Trinity College of Louisville. So we've got a lot of ground to cover, and I want to be sensitive to everybody's time, so we're going to move this right along. Just one or two housekeeping things along the way. If you have to leave for any reason, we will be posting the recording of this on our YouTube channel after the case, so if you need to go or something, it's not a big deal. I will also be taking questions along the way. Two options here. You can post a question in the webinar chat at any time, and if I see it there, I'll be happy to try to engage with that as we go, or I'll leave some time at the end for some Q&A. In case you have any questions, then feel free to lodge those questions in the webinar chat, and we will take them as they come. So let's get started. Quick roadmap of where we're going here. We're going to cover a series of questions that are common related to dual enrollment and what it is that we do and how it works, how what Trinity College has to offer for high school seniors. So I'm going to just go through this basically in question and answer format. We've done a few webinars like this before, and there's a few common questions that arise we want to try to help parents and students with as you're considering dual enrollment for your high school senior. First of all, one of the first questions is, what is Trinity College of Louisville and what is the bridge year? Now, if you've made it this far and you are watching this video or sitting here with us in the webinar, you probably have an idea already that Trinity College is an academic startup. We are a Christian liberal arts college that is designed to serve the students and families of Sovereign Grace churches and beyond. And so we have just finished our second year. We're getting ready to go into our third academic year that'll begin in August. So we're very excited about that. The Lord has blessed us in a number of ways. Very pleased to be able to offer this kind of education to our students. And so I'm excited to tell you a little bit more about that. Now, the bridge year is a specific component of Trinity College, and I bring that up because the dual enrollment program is really a function of the bridge year. So we are in the process of building out a 4-year liberal arts curriculum. So it's going to be a 4-year Bachelor of Arts program, and we offer the freshman year as a standalone 1-year program, and we call that the bridge year. So for some students, it's a great way to get acclimated to Trinity College before committing to the entire 4-year program. For other students, that's a great way to get a pretty intensive dose of worldview and Bible and theology before going on to whatever it is those students are going to do next. And for high school seniors, we offer the courses that are contained in the bridge year as a dual enrollment option. So high school seniors can take bridge year classes as a way to fulfill their high school requirements and begin earning college credits at Trinity College of Louisville. Now, there's a few questions that come up with that, and one of the obvious questions is Trinity College is located here in Louisville, Kentucky, and what do students do? High school seniors are far less likely to move here compared to college students. So how does this work? And I'm happy to tell you that our bridge year classes are available just like this over Zoom. We have been conducting classes hybridized, both in person for students who move here or live here already, as well as over Zoom for students who are participating from a distance, and it's worked really well. Now, it's not exactly the same as being in the classroom, in the same way that this webinar is not exactly the same, say, as me sitting across the table from you at a coffee shop and talking together about dual enrollment. But the technology is here and it's really good. We're able to use a digital whiteboard so students can see what we're writing there in the classroom, and they can participate, they can raise their hand, they can talk to other students or to a professor and benefit pretty much just the same as being in person. So it works really, really well. And so we can talk more about that if you have questions about how that works and what kind of technology goes into that. So let's talk a little bit more about dual enrollment, what it actually is and how it works. So first of all, it's important to know we offer 5 classes as our dual enrollment program. And dual enrollment students are free to choose from among those classes in an a la carte fashion. So if you are curious about your student, or if you are a student considering this, thinking about joining in dual enrollment, you don't have to sign up for all 5 classes. You can take any of the classes that you wish, and the 5 classes are these. We have 5 classes. Begins with, start with biblical anthropology. So Josh Blunt, who is a pastor in Franklin, West Virginia, Josh teaches biblical anthropology. Anthropology is just a fancy word for what does it mean to be human. And so in that class, Josh works very systematically through what it means that God created men and women in the image of God, how the image of God was corrupted by sin and restored by Christ. And then what does it mean? We think through major issues in our culture today, like gender and sexuality, race and ethnicity, and human flourishing and wholeness. How does counseling work? And so it's one of our most popular classes, and a really great class for students who want to be equipped for the next stage of their education. If they're considering going on to college, even if you're not, if you're just thinking about entering the workforce, it's a really great class to be equipped with a biblical understanding of what does it mean to be human. Now, next, we want our students to be able to think clearly about the world that we live in. So our next class is Introduction to Logic. And that class is taught by Reed Williamson, who is a Sovereign Grace Pastors College graduate. He is just beginning his work on a doctorate, and he's got a lot of experience in this field. He's taught this class at the high school level and has taught some at the college level. This is the first time he's teaching this class this year. We're really excited about it because he's going to be equipping our students to think clearly. Logic is a neglected subject in the world today. You don't have to look far to discern that, and it will serve our students to be able to think clearly and carefully about the world they live in, about the ideologies that they encounter, about the worldviews they encounter, and so this will help students to be equipped for whatever comes next in their academic career. Next class, we have my wife, Nicole Whitacre, teaches a class called Literature and Writing. And in this class, it's kind of an introduction to both. So it's a bit of a great books program. She gives students a survey of some of the best literature in the history of the world. And some of those books they'll read in full, some of those they'll read excerpts. They have great in-class discussions where they talk about plot and character development and all the detail that goes into the great writing, where those individual works fit in their time and how they shape our understanding today of what it means to live in the world, and especially how we should think about literature as Christians. So that's a really valuable aspect of the class. The other half of the class focuses in on the skills of writing and rhetoric. What does it mean to write well? How do we communicate effectively? And so it's a mix of writing. There's actually some public speaking involved in that as well. Students will present papers and have an opportunity to be critiqued and instructed and evaluated in both their writing and their speaking. So really valuable class. Those are skills that every student needs to take with them into the future. Now, we also want our students to be really well grounded in the Bible. So I teach a class that's 2 parts. In the fall, we go through biblical theology. And in that class, we're asking the question, what is the big overarching storyline that holds the whole Bible together? And how does the entire Bible move towards God's redemptive plan of salvation in Christ Jesus? And so we work through that from Genesis to Revelation. We think about how the whole Bible leads us to the gospel. The second half of the class comes in the spring, and that's hermeneutics. So it's biblical theology and hermeneutics. And in hermeneutics, we think together about how to interpret the Bible. We think about how Christians who have gone before us have learned the lessons of wisdom to come to the different genres of the Bible, and think carefully about the way the Bible is composed of different kinds of literature, and how every part of the Bible points to Jesus as well. So these 2 classes fit really well together. The 5th and final class that we have as part of our Bridge Year program is Introduction to Biblical Greek. We want our students to learn to read the Bible in the language that it was written. And they're very capable of doing so. And it's incredibly rewarding for these students to start reading the Bible in Greek and discovering for themselves why our English translations say what they do. It's also a really great discipline. Learning a language like Greek or like Latin or other languages like that teaches students to think carefully about how words are connected to each other, how sentences are connected to each other. So it's another way to reinforce those lessons that we have in logic about how to think really well and carefully about the world that we live in. So those are the classes that are available. And we love this for our students because it's a way for them to complete their high school curriculum while earning college credits. Now, most high school seniors, if you're homeschooled or doing some kind of hybrid or co-op program, a lot of high school seniors reach high school nearing the end of their requirements. And many of them have a pretty light senior year. So it's a great opportunity at a very inexpensive cost for students to kind of double dip and satisfy those senior requirements while earning college credit. Now, one of the things you have to watch out for with dual enrollment programs is that there can be a tendency in some dual enrollment programs to lower the academic standards, to lower the quality to accommodate a larger variety of high school seniors and a larger variety of skills and experiences so far. Obviously, that's not great for your college freshmen who are also in the class, and it's not good for the high school senior because then those seniors really are getting shortchanged on one of the biggest benefits of dual enrollment, which is the opportunity to press ahead and be pushed and begin studying at a higher level. So one of the things that we are careful to do, and I talk a lot about this with our professors, is we want to maintain the levels of academic quality of our dual enrollment program and invite these high school students, these high school seniors, to push and to press in and for them to be challenged in their academics. Now, what we've seen so far with this program is these dual enrollment students have risen to the challenge and they've done a great job. And some of them have really been pushed outside their comfort zone, but that has been a real benefit to them. And they've all come around at the end and said, yeah, you know what, that was well worth it. And it was more work than I was used to in my high school classes, but worth the challenge. To give you one example of that, my daughter Tori just graduated high school this past year. She enrolled in the bridge year as a dual enrollment student this past year. And she took all 5 classes of the bridge year for her senior year. And it pushed her. She worked hard. She did more reading than she was used to, more writing than she was used to. And of course, Greek was a challenge, but she did great. She loved it. And if she were sitting here, she would say to all of the potential students, you should do it. She would highly commend it to you. And we were thrilled with that opportunity. Now here she has graduated high school, and just a few weeks ago, having graduated, now she has also completed her freshman year of college. And so she is moving on to the sophomore year of Trinity College this coming year. And we're thrilled for that, for her about that. And she'll do a great job. So want to be clear about what we provide and don't provide in that. So for our students, we provide a transcript at the end of the year, so that parents, if you are a homeschooling parent, you have evidence that your student has taken those classes. We're not able to offer any further kind of certification or anything. So as a homeschooling parent, you just need to know whatever the laws and rules are in your state so that you can submit the proper paperwork to show that your student did in fact take that class. Now, our dual enrollment, it is for high school seniors. One of the questions we sometimes get is, can our dual enrollment program be open to other high school students as well? Could a junior perhaps take dual enrollment? And if that's a question you're asking, I would want to say we'd want to talk with you about that before I give just a categorical yes, absolutely, or a categorical no, that's not going to work. We'd like to have a conversation with you. So please reach out to us because the younger students get, the more challenging this is going to become, because we are teaching to a college freshman level. And so the younger students are, the less prepared they're going to be for the rigor and the challenge of a college freshman level class. But we're willing to consider, depending on the experience of the student, we're willing to talk about that, and we could be open to that. Now, another question that arises is some students and some parents hear how I introduce Trinity College and explain that Trinity was founded for the churches, the families, and the students of Sovereign Grace and beyond. And so some families have asked, well, we're not from a Sovereign Grace church, could we participate? And the answer to that is absolutely. So we had a student this past year who was not from a Sovereign Grace church, but he came and got involved and loved it and did a fantastic job. We just like students and parents to know that we are teaching in theological alignment with the Sovereign Grace Statement of Faith. And if you're not familiar with that, it's easy to find on the Trinity College website or the Sovereign Grace Church's website. Now, I've walked through the different classes that are available, and if you have any questions about any of those classes, I'm happy to field those questions while you're thinking about that. A few other questions that sometimes arise, and one of those questions is, can I take the bridge year for transfer credit to other institutions? And that's a great question. Let me talk about how that might work. So, first of all, if you're planning to go on and take classes with us at Trinity College, then the dual enrollment is super easy, because we just say, okay, those classes count and satisfy the requirements of the freshman year of the bridge year, whether you take some or all of them. Now, if you're thinking, look, I'd like to take a class or two here and then look at transferring to another university or college that has more options for majors or that sort of thing, we think, well, you're going to need to enter into a conversation with the admissions department of that particular school. We do a lot of work to help our students try to make their classes as transferable as possible. So we encourage them to keep their syllabi, to keep papers and exams, keep copies of those things so they've got those, so they can easily build a portfolio that shows other colleges' admissions offices that they've done equivalent work to transfer into a similar class or to satisfy the requirements of a similar class at that institution. Ultimately, though, that will be the decision and at the discretion of that school that you're looking to transfer into. Now, I can also say in that we are working to forge relationships with other colleges, and I hope to have more announcements about that soon, where we could establish a pathway towards other Christian colleges that maybe have majors beyond what we're able to offer that students are interested in. So if that's a question or concern, or you have more detailed questions about that, just put that in the chat in the webinar chat here. I'll be happy to talk about that as we go. Now, another question that students and parents want to sometimes ask is, how much does it cost? What does it take to do dual enrollment? So I'm so glad you asked. So let me explain. Our tuition for, if you were to take all 5 classes of the bridge year in the year to come, then our tuition for the coming year would be $5,760 for the entire year. $5,760 for all 5 classes for the entire year. That's the tuition. So remarkably affordable. We're trying to keep that as affordable as possible. If you divide that up and say, well, I'm interested in taking a class a la carte, maybe just 1 or 2 classes at a time. If we take $5,760 divided by 5, we get $1,150. $1,150 for 1 class for the entire year. And we're offering a promotion right now that if you sign up for a dual enrollment class by the end of July, then we are offering about a 15% discount. So we're offering that tuition. It'll come in at $990 for the entire year. I think that's a bargain for the value that your students will get in that year. And now, you should plan on a little bit extra for books. Depending on the books, it might be anywhere from $75 to maybe a couple $100. But again, very affordable. We want to make education as affordable as possible. The cost of tuition in our country is absolutely skyrocketing, and it's out of control for a lot of reasons. And so at Trinity College, one of our goals is to provide a very high quality education at a very reasonable price. And so eager to do that. And again, if you have questions about that, don't hesitate to throw those in the chat. Be happy to ask about that. So what next? If you have made it this far in this webinar, you might be thinking, I'm curious and there's a couple of options before me. Now, if you have heard everything that you need to hear and you're ready to go, then the next step is application. And if you go to our website, trinitycollegelou.com, that's trinitycollegelou.com, you'll see right at the top of every page, there's a little button that says apply. It's not hard to find, can't miss it there. Click on that, and there's just a couple of steps. You'll see there's a specific track for Trinity College dual enrollment applications. And that application will take you maybe 10 minutes to fill out once you have all the materials together to do that. Now, if you are thinking about this for the coming year and you've got some questions you're not sure about, again, you can ask those questions right now, or you can set up a time for a private consultation. I would be happy to arrange a phone call or a Zoom with you and sit down with either parents, students, both, even groups of families, youth groups. I've done all manner and configurations of these things in the past. I'd be happy to do it again. So just let me know. I'm easy to get a hold of. You can contact me through the contact information. Again, you'll see a little form about contacting us at the bottom of every page of the Trinity College website, or you can reach out to me on social media, whatever you like. Easy to find, easy to get a hold of. Or if it's questions I can answer over email, just shoot me an email. I'd be happy to talk with you. Now, questions. We got about 7 or 8 minutes left. Okay, a couple questions that arise. Okay, yeah, common question about questions about the format of the class schedule. When are the classes, and how, say as a homeschooling family, how should you plan on this? Yeah, great question. So our classes, they're a lot like college classes in that we have each class, you want to plan on 3 hours of class time per week. They're 3 credit hour classes. So some of our classes will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Some of them will be Tuesday, Thursday. And the biblical anthropology, interestingly, is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 12 to 1. The reason I'm not naming all the other classes, we had kind of a last minute configuration change. We're working out those details. So if you're curious about the schedule for a specific class, then just reach out to me. I'd be happy to fill you in on that. We'll have that nailed down in the next day or two, and we'll be posting that on our website and on social media, so it should be pretty easy to find. So Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, plan on 3 hours per week, either an hour and a half Tuesday, Thursday, or 1 hour each Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or in the case of biblical theology, 1 hour each Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All right, other questions? Let's see. Okay, so yeah, a question about how much work should my student prepare for? Great question. Again, just saying that we're preparing for a college level of work, maybe that's not specific enough for some families. So a good way to think about this is kind of the rule of thumb in most colleges, and the rule of thumb that we plan on is for every 1 hour of class time, plan on 2 hours of reading, writing, or other homework. So if you have a 3 credit hour class, plan on 6 hours of work outside of class. That's a pretty standard kind of college level goal. And so you'll find that in the course catalog of most colleges. They'll have something like that as a benchmark for how much work could you expect. Now, that is a target. A lot of that is going to depend on the student, depend on the class, depend on the nature of the work. Some students read faster than others, some students write faster than others. But it's a good benchmark to give you an idea of how much work you can expect. And if you're curious about what it might look like and you'd like to take a peek at a syllabus beforehand, again, just reach out to me. And I'm very happy to talk about those things with you along the way. Okay, other questions? Yeah. Oh, okay. Question about Zoom. Yeah, just question about how this actually works. So if you, yeah, fair question. If you are a family out of state, you don't live here in Louisville or can't easily get here for class or don't plan to move here, then it's very simple. We just have a repeating Zoom appointment. So all the students have the link to that Zoom and they log in at the appropriate time. We do some simple things, like we ask our students to keep their Zoom on for the entire meeting so that they can participate in full, and so that our students who are in the classroom with us feel connected. Now, it might even help you to know that some of our professors teach over Zoom. So our students who are joining over Zoom, it doesn't feel all that different really from what the professor is doing. And yeah, they'll be able to enter right into discussions. They can either just wave their hand in the Zoom window or, use the little yellow, like there's a little icon that pops up. So different professors handle that in different ways. I've been really encouraged actually by how well it works. Our students who join over Zoom, yeah, they're able to jump right in and participate in discussions. They're able to do translations and parsings right along with us in Greek class, so that works out really well. Projects, speeches, anything they need to do, it works really, really well. I will also say that most of the students that we've had participate over Zoom have made arrangements at some point during the school year to come to Louisville on a road trip or a vacation or something like that and just join us for a week. And that's been super fun. We've really enjoyed those times, having those students here with us in the class. They get to come. We have hospitality at our house once a week, so any students who are here in Louisville, they come over to the house with either other church members or Pastors College students and their families, and so we feed them, make sure that they're taken care of there. We have great discussion. We talk about what we're learning, or we get to know folks in the church or at the Pastors College better. So those are great times. And so if you're planning on joining over Zoom, see if you could make it through Louisville sometime in the school year. We'd love to have you. Love to help you make arrangements, find a place to stay, and come have dinner with us. It'd be great. Okay, we are just about out of time. Any other questions? Okay. If you have questions you think of after the fact, not hard to find. So again, you can reach out to me over social media or just grab me. Send us a notification, reach out to us through the contact information at the bottom of any page of our website. We'd be happy to help. So thanks so much for joining us for this webinar. It has been a pleasure to have you and to talk to you. And again, if you have any questions, I look forward to discussing those with you. And until next time, thank you so much.